Hey there, what is up, Church Playbook family? Todd here with Church Playbook, and this is part three of a little video series I'm doing called Replanting Your Church Post-Pandemic. And the last couple of sessions, we've talked about some steps that I'm taking to breathe new life and new momentum into our church in 2021 after what happened with COVID in the year 2020. And so I said, hey, I'm going to take my own church through the 6 principles of the Church Playbook to show you that anybody can do this. And these are principles, they're not methods. And so we have been on this first principle for the last couple of videos called Getting the Field Ready. And so the first step in getting the field ready is figuring out who is on your team. And again, if you've read the Church Playbook, you know this. If you haven't, you can just go to thechurchplaybook.com and get your free copy of the Church Playbook, and you just pay a couple of bucks for shipping and handling. Anyway, so getting the field ready means we're going to find out first who's on our team. And so I went and did a 1-question survey, and I just said, hey, I just want to know, like, do you still consider our church to be your church? And so there were 3 possible answers to that. And so the first answer was yes, this is still my church of choice. The second answer was no, we've moved on, we're going to another church. The third answer was no, and we don't go to any church anymore right now. And so I said, hey, we're going to treat each of those 3 lists differently. Well, 85% of the people that I surveyed, and I got 98 families, not people, families, to respond, and 85% of those 98 families said, yes, we are still in. Now, the next part of getting the field ready is thinking through your follow-up and assimilation process. In other words, before you go and do any kind of big event or whatever, you need to think through what process do you want people to go through from starting out as a guest to becoming an attender, to giving their life to Christ, to becoming a member, and then beyond. You know, how do you get them plugged into a group? How do you get them serving in ministry? How do you get them giving? Things like that. So you need to think through all of those processes before you invite one person to your church. So back in the day when we could get everybody together and nobody was afraid to meet. In fact, it was a year this week that we had our very last church service pre-COVID, and then the world got shut down, right? So at least at the time of this recording. And so we used to get people together once every 4 to 6 weeks for our membership class. And you can see up here, this is Riverview 101. Now, our church is a purpose-driven church, and so we have sort of patterned ourselves after the purpose-driven model. Now, the purpose-driven classes, it says here, Class 101, these classes are 4 hours long in one sitting. Now, over the last 10 years, I've taken our Riverview 101 class and 201 and 301, 401, and I've really whittled them down to about an hour and a half, 2 hours if I'm feeling a little long-winded, right? Well, here's what we're going to do. Because people are not going to sit through an hour and a half to 2 hour class after they've gone to church, because people are not going to leave their kids with childcare or babysitting or whatever. They need an option to get this membership course digitally. And so I'm going to show you how I do it digitally in the next video. But before I do that, I want to show you how we've taken our 1.5 to 2 hour course and have chopped it up. We're going to do a 7-day faith jumpstart class, and we're going to offer it to people at the end of every service. And so this is a great way to get to know who we are as a church. This is a great way to understand what it means to be a Christian and how to become a member of the church. And we're going to do this every single Sunday at the end of service. We're going to offer this on a website different from our church website. And so on that very first session, it's going to all be on video, and I'm going to introduce the class, and I'm going to say, hey man, we're so excited that you're here. Let me tell you a little bit about the Riverview story and what you can expect over the next few days. So as you can see here, this would actually be like session as you can see here, this would actually be like session 1B, or this is really session 2, because that first session is going to be an introduction from me. Okay, and you can see I'm going to take them through all of this, and this should be about 10 to 15 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get like a teleprompter app and put it on my MacBook, and so the words are going to be up on my screen, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to read through all of this because I don't want to miss anything important. Now, at the end of recording this on video, I'm going to give it to my creative director, and he is going to put, like right here, where it says, you belong in God's household, this is Ephesians, and so he's going to put all the description and everything on the video, okay? But I'm going to read through all of this, and it's going to be in conjunction with a memory verse for the week. It's going to be in conjunction with just some other spiritual habit stuff that every day for 7 days, they're going to have a very short checklist to go through. And so what we'll probably do is turn each of these sessions into little ebooks. Okay, so we'll just send it to Fiverr.com. Here's the text, and I'm going to have someone put together like a really small PDF of each of the sessions, and then I'm going to have the video on this. And so it's short enough that they can listen to it in the car on their way to work, or they can watch it while they're making dinner in the kitchen. But these sessions are meant to be 10, 12 minutes long. Now, this first session is, hey, we're talking about you are a member of God's very own family, okay? Church is a family. This is what Scripture says. God expects me to be a member of the family. A Christian without a church family is an orphan. And, it's kind of like, people that will try these different churches every single week. They're kind of these floaters out there, and that's not really what it means to be a part of the body of Christ, right? The difference here between being an attender and being a member is the word commitment. And so, what makes Riverview a family? Our salvation, our statement, our strategy, our structure. And then the goal of this 7-day jumpstart is going to be that I will commit myself to Christ and to the Riverview Church family. And then, and like I said, this part will actually have been done in the video beforehand. So we're still editing this document. We're going to go live with it next week. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. This is what we're doing. I'm putting the Church Playbook principles into action, and I'm replacing a lot of the live and in-person activities by putting them on video, making them available digitally. And it's not that we're going to get rid of the in-person stuff, because we're not. It's just where my church is in California, we're the last state of the union to open things up. People are not ready to be back in large crowds. And so we're making this our primary option right now until a lot of the mass hysteria dies down and people are ready to get into groups again. Session 2, now we're going to start in this session 3. We're actually going to start talking about the core values of our church. You can't do life alone. You were created for community, okay? And so we're going to talk about the real pandemic of loneliness, and we're being invited to do life with God and with each other. And so we're going to talk about some habits for growth here. And so we talk about being a 3.6 attender, and again, that's all in the Church Playbook. Let's see here. and here's the thing. George Barna, and I think it's in his book called The Power of Vision. He found that people really are only able and willing to give time to things of faith maybe 2 times a week. And so instead of having this, cafeteria where you've got 57 different options on how to interact with the church every week, we've said, hey, we're going to focus on these 2 things: Sunday mornings in small groups. Here's what you need. Here's how we do our growth groups, and that's session 2. Okay. Session 3, I'm going to do a brief review of value 1, and then we're going to go into value 2, growing people change. If you're not growing, you're not changing. If you're not changing, you're stuck. That's kind of the theme of session 2. Value 3, save people, serve people. Experiencing greatness isn't based on what we deserve, but how willing we are to serve. Okay, and then we were saved to serve. We serve because we have been served. And then, we ask the question like, hey, if I don't do this, who's going to, right? Um, there's a fun, and I've read this in several different um, renditions, but the story about someone else or somebody else, and so it's just kind of a funny, um, you know, let someone else do it. It was common knowledge that someone else was among the largest givers in the church. Whenever there was a financial need, everyone just assumed that someone else would make up the difference. And so, but this is, I'm saddened to announce the death of one of our church's most valuable members, someone else. So it's an obituary. We talk about jumping in, jumping around, jumping up. So, and that's the way that we look at getting involved at church is we imagine volunteering or serving as like a pool and a swimming pool. So we're just like, hey, just jump in, try something. Okay. Give it 30 days. And it's not often that a person jumps into their sweet spot the first time around. So we just say, hey, jump around, get out of the pool, jump in another part of the pool. And once you find that sweet spot, once you find that thing that you just got to do, children's ministry or tech ministry or greeting ministry, then jump up in your commitment to that ministry. So jump in and try it, jump around, jump up. Let's see, value 3, value 4, you cannot outgive God. And so we talk about giving and tithing, living on the 80-10-10 rule, automation trumps determination, talk about how to automate your giving. And then our final value is that found people find people. And so we just talk about sharing our testimony and inviting people to church. We do this because every number has a name, every name has a story, every story matters to God. Hey, if you want the final edited draft of our Jumpstart class, go ahead and just let me know in the comments, and I will get you a copy of it. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Is we're taking our membership class and we're chopping it up into 7 sections, and then we're going to for 12 to 15 minutes a day have a video. And I'll just tell you right now what I'm going to do is in our Facebook group, I'm actually going to go Facebook Live, and I'm going to do the video, and so everyone that is in the group will get a chance to watch it first. I'm going to have our creative director edit the videos, and then using ClickFunnels, someone will be able to go to a website, put their name and email address in it. So that's important information to have. And then every single day, they will get an email. Here's your checklist. Click here to watch the video of the day. Download your ebook to follow along. And then at the end of 7 days, they'll have the opportunity to become a member of our church. So hope that is helpful. That's just what we're working on right now. I wanted to let you know that I am still going through the 6 principles of the Church Playbook to replant our church post-pandemic. I'm doing this so that you can see how we're doing it, so that you can do it too, because believe me, friends, if I can do it, anyone can. So hope that was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.